Our senior international correspondent, Ivan Watson, is live for us in Sochi. Can't be any clearer than that. And bearing in mind, Ivan, that just before the Olympics in London started in 2012, there was a security scare there. So, to some extent, it seems as if everything is as best as it possibly can, and the games can now begin.
Well, let's hope so. I mean, certainly these latest reports raising some new security jitters right on the eve of the opening of the Games. I was at Sochi Airport today where we saw members of Team USA, Team Latvia, Team Lithuania come in. It was a pretty festive occasion, but it gave me a chance to not only ask the athletes what they thought about this alleged toothpaste explosive plot that the U.S. intelligence have alerted people about, but also the CEO of the airport himself, who first described about the $400 million that investors in the Russian government have put into upgrading that airport. But then I got to ask him about this latest security threat. Take a listen.
No, at this moment I'm more than happy to have the security forces around us. You know that the Russian government and our security guys as well, they've done a tremendous job to bring everything, you know, to the standard, to the highest standard as we can and what it should be. And we went through about 30 different audits by security forces of different governments, countries, and also air companies. And all of them said that security level in our airport in this area is I would say above any standards that they've seen in their lives. So I feel confident and I'm happy that we have this kind of.
Overnight, the U.S. government announced that they were issuing a warning to airlines about the possibility of explosives in toothpaste and in makeup in planes specifically flying to Russia. What do you think about that?
We just said that in this kind of environment for Olympic Games, it's better to take everything out of your hand luggage or to put in a luggage. Then we have special machines that check everything. So they're just for security, it's like extra measures. So that's what we do.
Did that announcement come as a surprise? Because it specifically has to do with aviation and flights coming to this airport.
No, it's all over the Russia. So it's all everywhere the same rules.
So this is kind of information that's being shared now between the airport, airlines, security forces. You have to be on the lookout for specifically toothpaste.
No, it's not only toothpaste. It's anything what is liquid, toothpaste, anything with cosmetics, whatever. So you should not have anything in your luggage, hand luggage at least, and that's it. So it's not only toothpaste.
And is that a new measure?
No, I wouldn't discover or disclose everything what we use as a security, you know, machines or whatever measures. But it's just that's the rules that our government and we think is the most appropriate at this moment of time. Yeah.
Okay. And so, what is your message then to possible visitors, especially after this warning came from the U.S. government to airlines about the possibility of explosives in toothpastes or in makeup? What is your message then to visitors?
I mean, if you look at the number of security forces in this area, probably this is the safest place, you know, in the country, maybe in the world. So don't worry, welcome to Sochi and just enjoy your time here.
That's right. Don't worry and welcome to Sochi. Don't worry and welcome to Sochi there, Richard. You and your viewers may be interested a little bit in the economic, strategic perspective on this upgraded airport and on Sochi in general. Mr. Sergeev, he told me that he conceded that Sochi basically has been a bit of a tourist backwater, and he is very much hoping that the Olympics will put it on the map as a tourist destination both in summer and in winter. He's anticipating that the airport could be a place that would accept 70% Russian tourists, 30% international tourists, a big challenge to get over. It's cheaper, he concedes, for Russians to take package tours from Moscow to Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt, to the Turkish coast, than it is to take to Sochi, to the Russian coast. He's hoping that all the new hotels that have come up here will help change that and make this a more affordable destination for Russian tourists in the future.
And Ivan, finally, briefly, the mood. What I mean, obviously, with this security threat, the toothpaste threat, the increased security, the terrorism that there has been from the athletes that you've spoken to, and the mood in the city itself, is there at least a feeling now that it is time for the sporting event to get underway?
You know, for the first time, I really felt that, dare I call it, Olympic spirit there at the airport as the athletes were coming out. They were excited. They were charged up. All of them looking forward to taking part in the opening ceremony and then getting started on the competition. As for ordinary people here in Sochi, you do sense some excitement and some apprehension. You hear these stories, some people sending their children away from town for security fears, others saying, you know what, they're going to go to these events. They're looking at this as a 2.5 to 3 week long festival for their region.
Ivan Watson joining us from Sochi. Ivan, if you've got a spare ticket, I'll certainly join you to watch the events. Many thanks indeed for joining us tonight. Now, one